God damn, who in the fuck was responsible for the Saints' loss to the 49ers? The offense or the defense?
Man, who gives a fuck? This loss got me sicker than a motherfucker.
Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Say That Shit, where we talking real talk from a fan's perspective. My name is JB.
This now.
And we just had a depressing loss versus the 49ers. Everybody knows that. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's disgusted. Maybe you want to talk about it. Maybe you don't. I understand the pain behind that loss. But we just going to get right into it. I'm ask you, Nelly, what happened, man? Why in the hell, why in the fuck did we come out with a loss in that game?
You know, I'm going to say, man, it's tough. I feel like we weren't prepared to play. You know, I don't think I've ever had a more depressing 2 weeks in sports history in Louisiana with my LSU Tigers losing and the Saints losing in consecutive weekends. For a national championship one and then the opportunity to go to the NFC championship to the Super Bowl for the next, it's probably been the hardest 2 weeks of my sports career, dude. I mean, I'm pissed, I'm angry, I'm mortified. Every other adjective you can put of being fucking disgusted of why we lost this game. But to answer your question, we went to Frisco, we were not prepared to play. The guys didn't play physical. We got outmanned, we got manhandled, we got out physical. You know, I thought that their team was desperate. We heard that they wet the field prior to the game to slow the track down, which I thought was bullshit. To me, it's cheating. Cheating is cheating. It's no different from you know, when New England was accused of videotaping from the sideline. I think if you're an NFL team, you're a professional or a franchise, and you're wetting the field to slow the track down, to me that's cheating. I think that their guys were issued instructions to put kill shots on our guys, where we had vicious helmet-to-helmet hits throughout the game. The first drive of the fucking game, Pierre Thomas is going in to score, and the safety hits him helmet to helmet. I have a real problem with that. As a receiver, and at that time he was a defenseless receiver, and knocked the fucking man out, and no flag was thrown. That flag right there, JB, would have given us first and goal at the 2-yard line. That's right. And if we couldn't score from the 2-yard line, shame on us. That would have been a 7-0 turnaround. We would have scored. We ended up turning. They didn't score on that drive, so that really didn't hurt us, but it killed our scoring opportunity. Exactly. Of taking the lead. Points off the board for us. After that, man, it was a snowball turn of events where we turned the ball over. We had some bad coaching decisions. Sean Payton made a bad move when he took Courtney Rowe and put him in the game. Once Pierre went out, I guess he was trying to spare Sproles from returning because he feared he didn't get hurt. Man, it's fucking playoffs. Exactly. You gotta have all hands on deck, bro. Exactly. And you know, I feel like that was a mistake. That was a coaching mistake. But at the end of the game, we're still fucking in the game. We're up at the end of the game. And you and I have gone back and forth about the defense, played well that game, but we've been hard on the defense all year. And what do we do at the end of the game with a minute fucking 30 seconds left in the game? We got the fucking lead by 3, and you let their best player beat you by the same fucking coverage that we've been talking about Greg Williams all season, JB. It happened to us again. Exactly. We got bit in the ass. Exactly. We got people, you know, tuning in. We got people that wrote us and say, man, y'all need to leave Greg Williams alone. But I'm proud to say this. As of right now, Greg Williams the fuck out of New Orleans, and I'm glad. So I'm going to tell you, Greg Williams, good riddance, bitch. I hope I see you when we see you. But anyway, dog, let's get into, you know, what your thought process was. Well, you know, when the game started off, you're looking at that Pierre Thomas hit. I want to elaborate a little bit on that. I think that's the reason the league instituted those rules. Right. Because of the fact that, you know, when you have hammer-to-hammer hits, you can have guys that have serious concussions, serious after effects after that. Right. And if you go back and look at the replay, it was definitely hammer-to-hammer hit on a defenseless player. They didn't call it. That takes points off the board. That's right. Then, like you said, we go into a situation where things start to snowball. We got Drew Brees out there throwing interceptions. Right. We got Courtney Rowe, who hasn't returned a goddamn kickoff all season long in a crucial game. He comes out and he mishandles the football. I mean, you can look at the player and say he should have been prepared. But as a coach, you got to feel the pulse of your team, and you got to know one thing.
this guy, we don't need to put him in that situation. Sproles has been doing this all year.
Right.
He's a very durable player. He hasn't been getting hurt a lot. So what's the sense in making the change? I mean, we wasn't going to run the football a whole lot in that game anyway.
That's correct.
And Sproles was going to be a receiver, and he's not going to touch the ball every down anyway. So what's the point of bringing Courtney Roby out there? So that was 2 turnovers right there that got us. I mean, that was a turnover right there from the coaching staff that gets us into trouble.
Right.
Then we get back into the game. I mean, Drew Brees pulls his heroics. We got a touchdown to Sproles. We got a touchdown to Jimmy Graham, who I think Jimmy Graham made that play. It was a basketball play.
I agree.
Jumped up, caught the ball, made 2 guys miss, goes in the end zone. I'm thinking we sitting pretty because, as you said, our defense, to a certain extent, was holding them down. Then you get in a critical situation. And I'm going to tell you what I read, some of the comments. I'm going to tell you what I read when it came down to the 49ers comments of what they were going to do once they had that minute and 37, that minute and 32 minutes left.
Right.
Jim Harbaugh said this: we knew we were going to Vernon Davis all the way in that drive. All the way. So you got Greg Williams sitting on the sidelines, not knowing this. And my problem is not that he had a single, I mean, my problem with the whole situation with the defense is that he did not have him double cover.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because this is the only guy that can beat you. Crabtree wasn't having a great game. If he was going to beat you, let him beat you. If number 10, I forget his name, if he was going to beat you, let him beat you. They were going to go to their best player. They were going to go to the guy that they felt was a mismatch.
But at least if you're going to have Crabtree and that number 10 playing JB, at least if you're going to have the man-to-man, I could live or die with that kind of decision. I could live or die with that. You got what was perceived to be our best corners.
Exactly.
And a corner's job is to cover.
Exactly.
Safety's jobs are not to do what Greg Williams asking these guys to do. He actually put the other safety, Jenkins, in the same type of fucking coverage. Man, you cannot ask those guys to cover a 4-3 fucking running tight end.
That's right. And I've been hearing people on the radio, I've heard Bobby Bell say, oh man, you can't cover a tight end. This is no ordinary tight end. This guy runs a 4.340. He's got the body of he's a beast.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you're going to ask a guy like Malcolm Jenkins to go out there and cover him by himself? That's my problem.
That's a mismatch.
That's my problem. You have to double this guy.
It's a mismatch.
Did you see when Jimmy Graham made that play? And I'm going to tell you what Vic Fangio said. Vic Fangio said that we had 2 guys on Jimmy Graham. He made a hell of a play. There were 2 guys that we had on him. We had Patrick Willis underneath and we had a corner over the top. He beat both of those guys. He said, I could live with that because we had 2 guys in position. He made a hell of a play. We can't say the same thing. We can't say that Vernon Davis made a hell of a play because all he did was beat single coverage, which a guy like that is going to be single coverage 9 out of 10 times, Cornell. So that's why I agree with you. Greg Williams, he's gone. Good riddance. Fuck him. He has done nothing for this defense. As far as I'm concerned, in the first year, Sharper saved his ass.
That's correct.
So that's all I got to say on that. Well, now that you know that, we got to just move on from that last loss, and we got to go on to next year, and we know that the Super Bowl is in New Orleans next year in the Super Bowl. So I want to get your views on who do we need to acquire, who do we need to keep, so that we can get this ship back on track and make a run at another Super Bowl in our hometown.
Well, that's a very good question. I think, first we need to address, I heard Sean Payton say that we're not going to ever have one side of the ball which said we're good going into the season or to the next season. We're going to have some people we need to re-sign on the offensive side of the ball. I think we need to re-sign Meacham. I think we need to re-sign Colston. Carl Nix is going to be up in the air, JB. I think we gave a lot of money. We're right at $8 million on Jair Evans right now. To have another $8 million guy, I don't know if that's going to be feasible for this football team when we have to sign Breeze because we definitely have blatant needs on the defensive side of the ball. We got to address this D lineman situation. We have no pass rush. We got to address the defensive end. I understand that Osi Umenyiora is a free agent. I'd like to acquire him. I also understand Lance Briggs is a free agent. I think personally, if we address the front 7 of the defense, I think we can go into next year with our secondary being what it was and have a great season. What you think?
Yeah, I think along with all those things that you mentioned, we got to get a D coordinator in here because we know Greg Williams is Saranada, so we got to get the right guy in here to motivate those guys.
I agree.
And I think that we may have to make some sacrifices, like you mentioned, on offense to bring something to the defensive side of the ball.
Quick question: Would you trade one of these running backs?
I would try to. I mean, I don't know
who would you trade.
I would have to trade Mark Ingram.
I don't want to agree with you. God damn it, I don't want to agree with you. You're going to say, y'all agreeing again, but I agree with you.
Yeah, I think we need to trade Mark Ingram, not because he's not a good back, but because he has the most value and he has the most appeal. He's young, just coming out, and I think a team that runs the football, you know, as their primary source of moving the football, I think he'll be a good addition to them, and maybe we can get something back. So I think that he's a guy that you would want to move. And also something you did mention, Jonathan Vilma. Jonathan Vilma is going to count $5.5 million against the cap. So he's going to either have to take a pay cut or he's going to have to be sayonara. So I don't know.
He's not going to take a pay cut. So you really go into this next season with Jolan Dunbar as your middle linebacker?
Jolan Dunbar, I feel like when he was in the game this year, we didn't have much drop off. So I'm going to say this. I think that Jolan Dunbar is a better middle linebacker. When they put him outside, you don't hear his name. You put him inside, he's a tackling machine. So I think you got to make a tough decision and you got to move on. I mean, Vilma didn't want to play in a 3-4 defense, and that's maybe the direction that we're going. So we might have to consider letting Vilma go. Some tough choices to be made here in the next season.
Well, we definitely got some tough choices to make moving forward, fans. But I tell you what, we'll keep you posted. We're going to keep this show going every week, but we're going to turn our attention from Saints football to a host of a lot of other sports moving forward. So until next time, we'll see you guys, and we just say that shit.
We want to thank y'all for tuning in to another session of Say That Shit, where we had some real talk from a fan's perspective. Look here, if y'all have any suggestions that y'all want to give us so that we can debate them here on Say That Shit, y'all can hit us up at Twitter at SayDatShit1. That's SayDatShit1 at Twitter. Or you can hit us up at our email address at saythatshit@gmail.com. So until then, we want to peace out and say that shit.